Hey guys, welcome to Race Talk, episode 2. And first, I want to take a moment and say thank you for all the support this last week since airing episode 1. This was originally designed to be within the Facebook group Race Talk. However, it's expanded a bit. We're actually going to start a full-fledged YouTube channel and upload the links to the channel up on the page every week. So you guys can come to YouTube and find Race Talk and subscribe. You can also get it so you're notified every time an episode is uploaded onto the site. If you are seeing this on YouTube and you have not joined the Facebook group Race Talk, please go do so. A lot of content's being uploaded on there by not just me, a bunch of other people and people of the same passion of motorsport sharing things that they wish to share. I also do polls and try to gather some stats. That way I can get the audience more of what they're looking for. So please do that. Participate in those polls. Those are critical. That makes how I do things down the road a lot different. And we're already going to go through a lot of changes. I'm taking this office here and converting it to a studio. I've got a lot of equipment that's going to be coming in. I've got to do different programs, and we're going to be kind of rolling with this under construction as time goes on. So my goal is in 6 months to be able to provide a super quality product to you guys. And so far we're on a roll. I've already made some changes in the last week, and you guys should notice some of those. We've got new graphics. We've got more graphics coming. These are kind of like not necessarily temporary, but something that I came up with rather quickly as opposed to some of the other stuff that we're working on now. So again, thank you for the support. It means the world to me. I've been in motorsports, or a big fan of motorsports, for 25 years. Little history here. I do come from a racing background. My family and a very close, another family very close to our family got together and went super late model racing way back in the mid-90s. And so we spent 2 years on our own team, and the first couple of years before that, our driver was actually with another team that we followed prior to joining us. So very exciting times. It was so cool to wake up and you go out to your garage and there was a race car. You go every Friday night or Saturday night and watch it race and cheer it on. It was just a very exciting time. So I do come with a lot of short track knowledge, and I've been following NASCAR in itself since about 1995, so quite a while, and just grew on me, and I never shook it. Some people, they get into something and then later on they lose the interest, but I haven't skipped a beat, and I haven't been looked frowned upon it in all the changes it's made and how far it's night and day, NASCAR today, and what it was 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So interesting stuff, but I totally understand why the changes are the way they are, and how the market changes, how just the businesses evolve, and the type of who they were looking for 20 years ago as opposed to who they're looking for today. The type of person to fulfill that job. And the way they go about it is entirely different. So I think you're seeing some of the effects, and NASCAR is starting to see, hey, we got to please two crowds, not just one. The old school crowd and the new school crowd, and kind of find a medium there. And they're working on that. So give it time, and you're going to see some changes. Like I've said in the first video, 2021 is going to be the telltale sign of what's going to happen. It's going to change racing. I know that. It is going to, I've heard rumors it's going to be more like it used to be. Then I've heard rumors it's going to be like entering IMSA. So interesting. Stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date on that. We'll get the information. As soon as I know the information, you will know the information. And if the information is breaking news, I will personally make a video broadcasting what is happening, as well as sharing any links, any news feeds that I can get to you guys so you can get all the information you need. Let's start this off this weekend with the truck race. Great racing in Kansas. I got to admit, trucks are probably my top series. I really, really enjoy watching them race. Real hard racers. You got guys that are they've made their home in trucks, and you have these new guys that are coming in trying to move through, to move up to Cup, and they have to prove themselves. So you've got this constant battle between the new and the old. The changes are so minute year to year, so you could pretty much know what to expect. It's not as drastic as NASCAR where they're changing packages all the time. It's not as difficult to keep up with, I can tell you that much. But Ross Chastain taking home the W, a very popular win. I was very happy to see that. His first career win in the Truck Series. Hard to believe with as well as he drives. He is a prime example of an underfunded team with a over accomplished driver, and if you can get him in a top-notch team, I tell you, he does not tear your equipment up. You've seen him save a vehicle week after week. He will get loose, and in uncanny circumstances, you think he is done for. He should be done for. By all means, any other driver gets that sideways, they're going around. So that really shows what kind of caliber of driver he is. That also shows that he can take care of your equipment. He's not going to destroy every car. Now, there's going to be circumstances where it's out of his control. Somebody hits him. But when he can control, when anybody else is at fault, look out, because he's coming. And the fact that he finished that race on those same tires that he was sideways on was super impressive. Now, this is also like a double-edged sword because I really feel bad for Stewart Friesen. Stewart Friesen, a dominant first stage, second stage, going into the third stage, and I thought he was going to lock it up. However, running out of gas, 3 laps to go. This is not the first time Stewart Friesen has been dominant in a race and been unable to capitalize. And it's not always on his fault. I think this time there was obviously miscommunication with the crew. The reason he ran out of gas was because he took off at 2 tires. They wanted 4. And by adding those other 2 tires, that much more gas could have been put into the vehicle. However, they said that they would still make it. And luckily they had 2 cautions to try to help them out, and that still was not enough. Other notable racers, Ben Rhodes, wow. What a show he put on. Matt Crafton, hell of a show. Unfortunate for Natalie Decker. Natalie Decker wrecking out. I thought she was going to flip over. Luckily, she did not. I really hope her luck turns around here in the future because her truck debut has not been pretty this year. And I know she's racing in a lot of other series. And I'm wondering if that has an impact because when you don't have a whole lot of experience, when you haven't been racing for 15, 20 years, and you haven't gone from one vehicle to the next vehicle, I think you get kind of used to one thing, and then you're jumping into another one, and then all of a sudden you get used to that, and then you got to jump into another one. And, some of the cars that she's been driving, they do have ABS. They have traction control. They have stability. They have totally different features than what a stock car does. And I think that in her circumstance can hinder her ability to perform well. Too much going on. I think she should focus on the stock cars, get that under her belt for a year or 2, and then, get the ball rolling there. Because I'll be honest, I know she brings in some money. I know she's pretty popular, but the results aren't justifying a career. That's all I'm saying. Saturday night, Cup Series had their opportunity. And before we even got to the race, we had a bunch of cars running up front, sent to the back, failing inspection. So their qualifying times were disallowed. Brad Keselowski takes the W. Very impressed with his run at the end. He kind of came out of nowhere. And he tends to seem to do that. And there's not a track you can count him out at. It was just very, very impressed. Kyle Busch, outside the top 10, 2 weeks in a row, he's been struggling. And this week, if he had come in the top 10, he would have actually beat Morgan Shepherd's record of 10 or more consecutive races in 10th place and before. So he can't be happy. You know he's not happy. You know he wasn't happy last week. I have not seen anything yet based off his opinion. I think they kind of left him alone this week, as opposed to what they did last week to him. I think that was kind of obnoxious to go up and just, they did it this week with Clint Boyer. You just saw him get in an argument with Eric Jones. Let him relax. You know Clint is going to speak his mind. He is like a Tony Stewart in that sense. He does not care if he's on television. I know he thinks maybe in the back of his mind a little more than Tony Stewart did. Tony would just speak his mind. And I think that's where a lot of his fan base come from, because, drivers like that have an image that is rather interesting, and his aggressiveness on the track, just, how could you not like that? I mean, that is an old-fashioned racer. I mean, back in the day, this was a common sight, but they just didn't have media in their faces blowing it all over the place. You feel me? All right, so next weekend, the All-Star race. So real quick note, and we're going to continue up on Kansas, but if you haven't had the opportunity to go and vote a driver in, there's a bunch of drivers that don't make this race unless they're voted in. So due to their eligibility. So Matt DiBenedetto is on there, Daniel Suarez, Ross Chastain. Go vote them in. It's their opportunity to try to win $1 million. So go make that difference. I also want to talk about Alex Bowman. 3 second-place finishes in a row. Now, I know a lot of people have been giving Bowman a hell of a time lately, saying he can't drive, etc. And I'll be honest, when he took over, when Dale Jr. was out, I was very impressed. And I know they struggled last year. And the thing is, it wasn't just Bowman struggling. All of Chevrolet was struggling. Now, Chase Elliott had moments. Jimmy Johnson had a moment, but nobody was consistent. Right now, you're seeing Penske and Gibbs. That is it. Running up front. You had a fluke this week. You had Ricky Stenhouse running in the top 5. That happens. Once in a while, a blue moon, the dark horse will come in. And there was a couple other drivers I was really impressed with. By the way, Chris Buescher, hell of a drive. I'm forgetting his name. 31. Tyler Reddick. Wow. Let me tell you something. That guy is going to be something in the Cup Series. When they get everything fine-tuned, and when Richard Childress can get back to true form, and I think they've improved a lot this year. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with Ty Dillon. I'm impressed with Austin Dillon. They need to find a little more speed, but they are doing way better than last year, and I see the improvements. So very impressive. Noted too that this is also with Brad winning. Simon Pagenaud won the Indy Series race, so Penske swept the weekend. Good for Roger. Pretty common theme for him, it seems, especially with the V8 supercars. Notables in the Indy, that's the Grand Prix at Indianapolis. That kicks off the month of May, and as you guys all know, on the end of the month, on the 26th, I believe. On the 26th is the Indy 500, and I'm going to be posting on the Facebook page. So go to Race Talk Facebook group and join, and you'll see the schedule for the Indianapolis 500 this month. They have a ton of practices, qualifying sessions now. You're not guaranteed a spot in the Indy 500. They are all racing their way in. And I know that recently has caused some controversy. Roger Penske spoke up and said, hey, I've been here a long time. I want a guaranteed spot. I want a provisional. And backing that up, Chip Ganassi said, hey, I understand that. I agree. So will that happen going forward in the future? I don't know. That'll be something discussed probably in the offseason. But for right now, it's a fair game. Anybody can show up. As long as you make the time, you can race. So yeah, Simon Pagenaud winning the Indy Series race. Scott Dixon coming in second, and Jack Harvey finishing the podium. Wild race. I know I saw a little bit of the beginning. Right off the start, you know how those restarts are, those starts are. Forget about a restart, but Colton Herta, he went for a little bit of a ride. Alexander Rossi got a little jammed up. I mean, it was just chaotic right off the bat. That is one series of racing. When they get on the street courses, road courses, I want to be the leader. I want to go. I want to give some space and get away. I do not want to be a middle of the car pack because that is just out of control. Um, so, yeah, F1 race Sunday morning. Hamilton claiming victory again. That should probably put him back up there as number one. Borders to number two. Mercedes, they just every week in and out. I kind of feel bad for Ferrari. Ferrari's been on their tail and trying to get the victory. They got in podiums, but still coming up empty-handed. Verstappen taking the third spot up on the podium. So, and that was the Spanish Grand Prix of Barcelona Sunday. So, good race, but very interesting, very different. It's quite a different platform than when you go from F1 to Indy. Just the driving styles and the etiquette between the two is quite incredible. I'm still learning a lot about F1 and how that works out. And as time goes on, I will be able to educate you, the followers, better on that as well. So yeah, after the All-Star race for the Cup, guys, we go on to the Coke 600, and very excited about that. That is a true test of endurance and an exciting race. I see some people say Chase Elliott will win that race. We will find out. Martin Truex a couple years ago dominating that race. Can't even tell you who won that last year. To be honest with you, I don't remember off the top of my head. A lot goes on, and some of the stuff is really hard to keep track of. So, again, anyways, if you have not, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please go to Facebook, join the group. Wednesday, 8 a.m., we'll be giving this away to some lucky winner. So go get the details there. You'll have till then to do it. And again, thank you for all your support. I'm going to post a lot more stuff this week, different content. Points follow-ups will be up on the page. You guys can check that out. Be my guest. Any feedback, comment, share. All in all, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Good night.